The Galactic Forum buzzed with tension and anticipation, its spires towering over the great arena like fingers pointing toward the stars. Delegates from countless systems crowded the balconies, their eyes fixed on the central floor where the alien princess waited. She was a striking figure, taller than most humans, her crimson scales glinting in the overhead lights. Her eyes burned like molten gold, and her teeth sharp enough to cut through steel peered from a snarl that spoke of centuries of battle training. Yet, despite her beauty and strength, no one approached her. She had been brought here as part of the customary marriage alliances among the galactic clans. The princess's reputation preceded her, ferocious, unyielding, and terrifying to all who dared meet her gaze. Rumors said she had defeated entire fleets on her homeworld by herself, and that she had grown impatient with any suitor who could not match her prowess. The hall grew restless as one after another. Alien delegates and nobles walked up only to retreat moments later, whispering excuses and bowing to retreating shuttles. The princess's patience, already thin, was wearing like an old hull exposed to solar winds. She clenched her clawed hands, her tail swishing with irritation. From the far entrance, a human walked in. His steps were unhurried, almost casual, as if he were merely taking a stroll rather than entering a room filled with the galaxy's most dangerous figures. His uniform was plain, lacking the ornate embellishments common among delegates. Yet there was something in the way he carried himself, a quiet confidence, tempered with a genuine curiosity that drew the eyes of those around him. The princess noticed him immediately. Most humans in this sector were either timid or overly aggressive, attempting to impress or intimidate and failing spectacularly. But this one moved differently. His gaze met hers without fear, and he did not shrink or avert his eyes. When he reached the center of the arena, the murmurs among the audience grew louder. Who was this human who dared approach the ferocious princess? Some bet he would retreat, others predicted he would be torn to pieces. The princess's voice, low and dangerous, rolled across the hall. "Do you wish to face me, human? Or are you merely walking into your own demise?" The human smiled, not nervously, but with genuine warmth. "I do not seek to face you," he said calmly. "I merely wish to understand you." The words were simple, but they carried a weight no one expected. The princess tilted her head, intrigued despite herself. Few dared speak to her like that. Even fewer spoke with such calmness. "Understand me?" She repeated, her tone skeptical. "You know nothing of my world, my battles, my wrath." "Perhaps," the human replied. "But I know that no one should stand alone if they do not wish to." The princess's eyes narrowed, suspicion mingled with curiosity. She had been alone for so long, feared and revered, but never truly understood. For the first time in centuries, someone did not flinch or cower. The human extended his hand slowly, deliberately. "May I?" he asked, as though offering a simple greeting rather than challenging a dangerous alien monarch. Silence fell over the arena. Every observer held their breath, unable to predict what would happen next. The princess studied the hand, her instincts screaming caution, yet something within her, a flicker of curiosity. Perhaps hope made her pause. Then, with a grace that belied her size, she took it. The contact was electric, a silent acknowledgement between two beings who had never truly been seen before. The human did not pull away. The princess did not strike. Instead, they simply stood, hand in hand, as if the universe had paused to witness a moment it had long forgotten. A murmur spread through the gallery. Aliens gasped, some stepped back, others exchanged shocked glances. To see the ferocious princess, the one feared by empires, accept a human's hand was unprecedented. "Why do you not fear me?" she asked, her voice softer now, curious rather than threatening. "Fear is a tool," he said quietly. "It teaches caution, but does not teach understanding. I see strength in you, not danger. Her scales shimmered under the light, reflecting both red and gold. Few had ever seen her smile, and rarer still was a smile unguarded. You are human, she said with disbelief. Simple, untrained, fragile by most standards, yet you do not tremble. Perhaps fragility is only what we call limits, he said. What truly matters is what we choose to do with them. The princess considered this, and for a moment, the centuries of battle and isolation that had hardened her heart seemed to melt. The human's words were not flattery, not diplomacy. They were honest, simple truths. Delegates whispered furiously, debating the implications. If the human succeeded in gaining the princess's hand, alliances could shift and power balances could collapse. Yet the princess did not seem concerned with politics. She only looked at the human, and slowly, imperceptibly, she nodded. Then walk with me, she said, releasing his hand, but gesturing for him to follow. He did, moving beside her, not behind, not ahead, but alongside. Every step they took together was a statement that strength could be paired with humility, ferocity with understanding. Days turned into weeks as the human accompanied the princess through her duties. He did not command or suggest. He observed, learned, and engaged. He watched her spar with soldiers, mastering techniques that would take others decades to perfect, and he learned why she had been feared. Yet he also saw her moments of solitude, her moments of reflection, and the rare instances when a hint of sadness flickered behind her golden eyes. He asked questions, carefully, not to probe, but to understand. Why do you fight alone? He asked one evening as they watched twin suns set over her homeworld. She shrugged, emotion both defiant and weary. Because no one else has matched me, she said. Not in skill, not in courage, and perhaps not in patience. He smiled. Patience is learned, he said. Sometimes it comes from waiting for the right person, not from avoiding everyone else. That night, the princess found herself thinking of the human long after he had left. His presence was not commanding, yet it lingered. His courage was not reckless, yet it inspired. She realized that in a universe built on fear, power, and dominance, someone could stand beside her without trying to overpower her. And it changed her perspective entirely. The next forum was the ultimate test. Representatives from the galaxy's strongest empires gathered once again to witness the princess's choice. Whispers ran like wildfire. Would she select a human species widely considered weaker, or a seasoned alien noble, trained in arts of war and diplomacy for centuries? She walked onto the floor, her armor glinting in the brilliant light, her posture flawless, yet there was an unmistakable serenity in her step. The human followed at a measured distance, calm and composed, exuding confidence without arrogance. The delegates held their breath as she surveyed the crowd. Then she turned to the human, locking eyes. In that instant, the room seemed to shrink. Silence swallowed the arena. Without hesitation, she stepped forward and took his hand again, holding it firmly. The gesture was simple, yet it spoke louder than any words. He had chosen understanding over fear, courage over caution, and he had been rewarded with trust. The audience erupted, some in shock, others in admiration. Rumors spread instantly across systems. The ferocious alien princess had chosen a human. Analysts speculated, diplomats recalculated, and soldiers debated whether the old orders still held merit. But the princess paid them no mind. For the first time, she walked not as a weapon, not as a symbol of terror, but as a being who had found companionship in someone who matched her not in strength alone, but in spirit. In the days that followed, alliances shifted naturally. The human, though simple in appearance, showed insight and understanding that bridged cultures, species, and expectations. Where fear had once ruled, respect began to spread. The princess's presence no longer inspired dread alone. It inspired hope, tempered by her wisdom and tempered further by the humans' steady influence. Together, they explored uncharted systems, mediated disputes that might have escalated into wars, and demonstrated that strength was not solely in battle, but in courage, empathy, and understanding. The galaxy took note. Humans, once considered fragile and insignificant, were capable of acts that could reshape empires. The princess, once feared and isolated, found herself laughing more than she had in centuries. The human never sought to dominate, never tried to impress with tales of conquest, and yet his presence was a force stronger than any weapon. It was the force of partnership, respect, and mutual admiration. One evening, on the edge of a nebula glowing with electric blues and purples, the princess turned to him. "I did not think this was possible," she admitted, her golden eyes reflecting the nebula's light. "Possible?" he asked gently. "Yes," she said. "To find someone who does not fear me, who does not seek to control me, yet stands with me as an equal." He smiled, taking her hand. "I never thought it would take centuries to find someone like you either. But here we are." And in that moment, amid the stars and the endless expanse of the galaxy, the ferocious alien princess and the human walked together, not as ruler and subject, not as predator and prey, but as equals who had found in each other the courage to face a universe that had once seemed impossible. Word of their bond spread far and wide, inspiring other humans and aliens alike. Young warriors began to emulate their partnership. Leaders started to consider diplomacy over aggression, and the galaxy began to